hop into these videos and talk live with me, hop into my Discord right now, link in the bottom of the description. Oh my god, it's dark here. Give me 2 seconds. Lively on. Here we go. Alright. And guys too, I am actually live in chat as well. So anytime you want to hop in, just hit me up on comments and I'll be right in.
Welcome to the Bent Pyramid of Dashur.
Oh, that is bent.
After the construction of the Meidum Pyramid failed, Sneferu transferred his residence and the official necropolis to Dashur. There he began construction on his second attempt at a funerary monument. The resulting structure, known as the Bent Pyramid, is the only one of its shape in Egypt.
But why?
Though the pyramid also proved unstable and was abandoned, it marked a technical and architectural breakthrough. Heralding an important design transition, the Bent Pyramid displays a shift from the step pyramid to a functional smooth-sided pyramid. The Bent Pyramid was unique in having 2 separate entrances, one on the northern face and another on the western face. The chamber of this pyramid was too small for a human burial. It was probably meant for the burial of a statue designated to house the Ka, the vital spirit of the deceased king.
Hey Zen, how you doing? Also too, if you wanted to have a chat live, man,
With the
I've got
Bent Pyramid,
the
architects
Discord set up,
successfully
links on the
experimented with a
bottom of
completely
the
new
description
idea:
for the live stream.
to build the pyramid with a core of huge stones settled on a progressive horizontal design. This way, each construction phase could be completed in a single stage, allowing the architect complete control over every design element. Unfortunately, these precautions did not prevent sagging or cracks in the interior rooms of the pyramid. Sneferu abandoned the monument and began the construction of yet another pyramid.
So you're kidding me? They spent all that time trying to make that. It turns out to be a bent pyramid and he doesn't like it and make another one. Yep. Alright. Alright, that's fair. That's fair. Yep. Sounds a little bit picky, but okay. And also too, I am live on chat with Mike now. I've got 2 mics set up. I've got recording mic on that and this, so but they can't hear me on the live stream, so you guys can only hear me on the live stream but no one else because it's only coming through these.
Welcome to Sneferu's first pyramid.
Hey. First pyramid, how many did he do?
With the long reign of Sneferu, the first king of the 4th dynasty,
Seems a
the
little
most
picky that he
brilliant
wants
and creative
more than two,
period
like
began
first, and then the next
for the
one he doesn't
construction of
like.
funerary monuments in Egypt.
Uh,
Funerary monument design
a little
moved
bit
from the
cocky, I
step
guess.
pyramid to the smooth-faced pyramid, testament to the evolution of the practices of construction. The first attempt at this design was the Pyramid of Meidum.
Where have I heard Meidum before? That actually does sound familiar. Strangely so.
While Sneferu's monument started as a 7-stepped
Praise the
pyramid,
sun.
it was later altered into an 8-step structure.
So,
The final phase of construction saw the steps filled out and an outer casing applied to achieve a smooth
took me ages
surface.
to get this whole Discord thing set up, but I'm glad I finally got through that. Now the only hard part
The
of it all
smooth
is
dressing of the
working out
walls
how to
did
get
not
those
provide
links to appear on the
sufficient
YouTube
bonding, however,
background.
and the outer casing did not rest on sound foundations. As a result, the bases of the 4 outer buttress walls gave way, causing the walls to slide down and collapse. While the Meidum Pyramid was abandoned due to design flaws, it showcased other innovations that would impact all future pyramid designs.
For Christ's sakes, touch one thing on this thing and it goes to a completely different app.
As well as the smooth sides, it was the first time a ceremonial pavement was built,
We should have seen
leading from the
last night
valley
that I
to the
was
temple of the
going
pyramid.
crazy with comments all of a
Another
sudden. Hit
innovation was that
101
of the
thanks to
funerary
you.
chamber, which was no longer at the bottom of the well, but rather above
I
ground
just
level.
knew comment number 69 would be
This
weird.
change signaled
And
the
it
beginning
was.
of the 3-bedroom system.
Yeah, I had a feeling that that would be bad, and it was the part where the embalmer's rubbing down the body, cleaning it. Almost got banned from YouTube as the 69th comment. I'm thinking the coincidences of that happening. Jesus, what were you streaming? I miss those days. The first day I ever had anywhere near that was probably about 49 people when I was back around just under 100 subs doing a Call of Duty Black Ops 3
Welcome
hot
to
sauce
Evolution of
campaign.
Pottery in Ancient Egypt.
And if I get myself killed going full power, like full pace hardcore mode, or realistic or
Excavations
whatever it was
all over
called,
Egypt have
if I
uncovered
killed
enormous
myself, I'd have to
quantities
take 2
of
dips
pottery
of the hot
vessels
sauce.
of all shapes and sizes.
And I wasn't allowed to have
The
any more.
production of pottery was mainly confined to
And
the
then everyone kept
outskirts of
saying
settlements
Zeus
due to the materials required
How close now,
and to keep
actually?
the kiln smoke away from inhabited spaces. The function of the product determined the selection of the raw
Damn.
material,
That's
its
not too
treatment,
bad, actually.
its form,
Well done, mate.
as well
Congrats.
as the finishing of the surface. Pottery was essential to ancient Egyptians' daily lives. It was used in all aspects
I'm actually
of life,
regretting the fact that I made a second
from the
track
storage of grains
because of
and
the
liquids
name
to
I put on
containers
it.
within the tombs of necropolises.
The name of it is just embarrassing,
The
and I
most
can't
common
really think of
pottery was
anything
made
else.
from Nile silt that resulted in a reddish-brown clay. Limestone clay, which
Like,
made
my
for
first
more
one was
attractive
Whispering Soul,
pottery,
which
was
doesn't
only
really seem
found
that
in Upper Egypt.
awkward, I guess. Oh, shit.
Early pots were made from pinched or
I thought
coiled
YouTube
clay.
was still having an
Chopped
issue with
straw,
that, actually.
ashes, and other
Because every
minerals
time
were
Z guys
added,
try to go into a
and the
stream
mixture
and
was
check it
then
out,
smoothed
sometimes
and
it wouldn't
decorated
update
before
through.
being put in the oven.
Like, you'd have the bell icon, you'd
Pots
hit the
were
bell
fired
icon
in
and be expecting to
bonfires
get the
or
notifications
enclosed
through,
within a
but
brick kiln.
I wasn't getting any notifications, and I'm thinking, that's strange, and everyone just stopped doing YouTube. Check through my emails, couldn't find a single one.
The potter's wheel was utilized during the Old Kingdom. Pottery became smoother and more polished, similar to river stones. It was decorated primarily in red
I think they're
pigment,
too
with the
focused
black
on
color
at the
achieved by
moment all
exposing it to
the
smoke.
big people out there, like the big
Pottery
YouTubers like
workshops were
PewDiePie,
attached to
Tfue
palaces
series,
or
or
temples,
stuff
and
like
around
that.
the
I think
late
they're just
period, specialized
trying to,
workshops
you
began
know,
to appear.
keep that under control. All the time they keep saying they're attacking those YouTubers when they're not really focused on glitches. And it's understandable being a big influence and all, like, you want to be
Quartzite
pretty careful
particles,
about how you
which
go about
created
that.
the rich blue or green glazing, became common during the New Kingdom.
And I hear there's something
Mediterranean
awkward about
motifs
Tfue
and
series, like
tin-based
a
glazing came with
exploit
the
or something that
Greco-Roman
PewDiePie
era.
mentioned recently. It was saying that if you make an account in India, somehow you're automatically subscribed. So I don't know if that's true or not, but if that is, that's kind of cheating.
Potsherds could be found anywhere, and were the most common canvas for writing or drawing,
So if they
in
technically do
comparison
beat
to more
PewDiePie,
expensive papyrus
they
sheets.
haven't done it fairly, so they don't
Named
really
after their
deserve
Greek
the
description,
King
ostraca
YouTube
contained daily life
thing.
records, letters, or could be drawn upon. Artists drew sketches for temples and tombs, or simply for leisure.
Oh god. um, I won't actually be able to go back on to Fortnite anymore, actually. I gave my account away. So yeah, save the world and everything. And I'm sticking to Black Ops 4 now. That's real big hype, they say. I think it's mainly though for the blackout mode, since it's fairly like Fortnite, but I think the fact with weapon modifications, armor levels, and different types of perks and stuff you can use makes it a little bit more tactical, I guess. I got Spider-Man already. Actually, I got the new Assassin's Creed Ultimate Edition ordered and Black Ops 4 Ultimate Edition ordered. So, in fact, actually, I might be able to try out a glitch because ZGods is able to get games off me for free now. He just has to hop on my account and download to his PS4. And since our accounts are linked, like my account's actually stored now on his PS4 now. You can just get them off me.
Such as granite, quartzite, and
except the ones on disc, though. I don't think you can get those.
Blocks were so prized that they were often transported from quarries located hundreds of kilometers away.
Actually, yeah, and I hear it's optional choices this time around, like a Mass Effect type feel, how each choice changes story, I guess.
Limestone was common.
Although Mass Effect 3 kind of ruined it with the ending. After all you did, it kind of felt like it was for nothing.
This particular limestone had marine fossils in it, however, preventing it
the
from
galaxy
being
gets destroyed anyway.
Polished.
You fight all the way through that, make all the choices, and then
the
go
structure
on.
would then be finished with a finer
I spent ages trying to do that in Platinum and see if there was a way to save the galaxy, but no.
Limestone was
used for the building
of the first pyramids, and for most of the
Thank you for wasting about a year of my life.
And Middle Kingdoms.
And then Andromeda came out. I thought that was going to be better, but nope.
Ancient Egyptians preferred to use sedimentary rock beds, or layers like sandstone and limestone, because they were often easier to extract. The common method used to extract stone was the open pit quarry. Stonecutters would find quality stone, shape, and dig it out on site. Open pit quarries enabled many workers to work simultaneously on many blocks, which allowed for better productivity.
I'm so keen to just do a Spider-Man broadcast after this because it's just so addictive.
Workers would draw a large grid directly on the stone's surface, taking care to leave a space between the blocks.
Oh, already? Oh,
this
yeah.
This allowed them to isolate the different blocks and create a trench that would make the extraction easier. Stone workers used iron chisels for hard rock, and bronze or copper tools for softer rocks, such as limestone. Removing material between each block created a trench line. In some quarries, that trench was wide enough to accommodate a worker, who would then cut the block entirely on site. For harder rocks like granite,
Nah.
workers cut a series of holes and hammered wooden wedges into them. They then soaked the wood until it swelled.
I think the latest
and
I've
caused the
ever got
rock to
home
split.
after a night of drinking was about 5 AM in the morning. Actually, no, I was still awake. I actually hopped straight on PS4, started playing some games. I wasn't even tired when I came home. I'm
The
like, keep
gallery
partying,
extraction
yeah.
technique was used when the desired
Then I
rock
had one
was
drink of
buried
coffee
under
and then
layers of rubble.
I was out.
This method was often necessary
I don't
in
know
order
how
to
that
find the
worked, but-
whiter and finer limestone required for a smoother finish. The first step was for the stone workers to create an access pit.
I think it just
that would
really
allow
just
them
gets
to
all the
reach
stress of the
desired
day
wall
out.
of stone.
It's really good for it.
Once a wall
Just
of
a
quality
relaxing drink,
stone
I
was
guess, if you're
exposed,
bored
workers
as
could
hell
then
and you
cut
just
out
want to
smaller
relax.
blocks. This pit required a
Especially
descending
after a long day
platform.
of work.
Designed like a stairway, it allowed them to
It's
free
ridiculous.
multiple galleries of
I have
blocks.
to work 8 hours a day, and Monday to Friday, sometimes Saturdays are calling. The rest of my days, stuck house cleaning, woohoo.
To cut the stone, they created a longitudinal curve, or slit, and then cut the
I'm
rock
going to
at a
actually have to go through
90-degree
pocket
angle.
uploads and check
The
that
lower
that way,
side was
maybe.
determined along the geological layers or by using a horizontal cut. Wooden wedges were inserted in the rock and
That's
hammered
it.
in.
What the hell? I
Shock
didn't want
waves were
movies.
then generated using
My
hammers,
videos.
fracturing the blocks
I
at
don't
the seam.
buy movies on YouTube. This is stupid. The Walking Dead playlist actually is probably the most popular playlist I've got of all. But it's surprisingly not the highest viewed amount of views things. Which is strange. Okay. Fine, I'm gonna search it up the awkward way instead of clicking on my channel icon. By typing my name in. Let's see what it comes up with. There we go. Yes. Okay. Wydron Colossus Metal Step, which is 58,000 views. What the hell? It's gone up another K. So there. Yep. If I had to say exactly though, it's 58,097.
To maintain the stability of these mining pits over the course of quarrying, workers would leave support sections of unexcavated rock.
Wait, for? Huh. I'd love to know how many likes as well, actually, although that's probably going to take a long time to
In
count
every quarry,
individually.
dedicated shrines were
I have
established
over
to offer
420
protection for the
videos to search
workers.
through for likes to count them up
In
total.
particular, Serket, the scorpion goddess,
I
was
don't think I have
considered a
that much
very
time.
powerful deity among quarry workers. Every mine and quarry of ancient Egypt included a scorpion charmer.
I've still got
who
about
was
probably
said to
50
use
videos that
magical
are private
powers to
already
ward off the
pre-recorded so
dangerous
far,
insects
so
and keep the workers safe.
do them in between days, sort of when I can't really fit in a live stream, I guess. I'm still shocked that you managed to actually stay up at that time. I used to stay up pretty late, but you have just smashed my record out of the water. That is for sure. You should have a Guinness Book of World Records thing for 6 in the morning. Okay, that's... Do you have 10k plus views total over your whole channel? Maybe it's for subscriber rates, I would say, because you do get paid for subscribers as well. So depending on how well the ratio is. Yep.
Welcome to Workers and Transport.
You're going to be up against
Whether workers
quite
were
a fair bit of
employed for the
competition.
pyramid
I've already got
construction or
about
at the quarries, the
over
government
200
supplied
people on
food and
Facebook now,
housing.
so on the pages
Workers
I've
for
been
the
setting up
pyramids and royal
wanting to get in on it,
necropolises
so
were housed in more permanent villages, such as
I'm
the
gonna
famous Deir
I'm going to
el-Medina.
make it so at least
Quarry
that it's
workers
easy
had
to
more
narrow down
temporary
from it, that's for
lodgings.
sure.
All skill levels were needed and utilized, from basic work hands to prepare the gypsum, to
But the best
brickmakers
thing
and
is
sand
to,
carriers, to skilled stonemasons to shape the
if it
blocks.
does actually cost me a fee to actually be able to send the full amount, so if it takes off of the full amount, I'll probably instead just send 30 anyway, so you get extra. Sometimes PayPal does charge me a little extra depending on where I send it to.
Skilled architects and engineers were employed year-round, while support labor were often
In
farmers
fact,
who
I
worked
think
on the
the
quarries or construction during the Nile's flood season. The basic laborers were hardworking and
something
versatile.
and then plus
Many may
shoutouts.
have been farmers who
I can't
joined the
remember what
construction
game it
during the
was.
off-season.
God damn. It's
Hieroglyphs
always on
found
the
in the
tip
work
of my tongue and
villages
I just
listed
can't
assigned job
work it out.
titles.
Apparently I'm live on 2 videos. I'm live on last night's stream and today's. Could someone please clarify what's going on?
Archaeological
Is this like the
research shows that
GTA?
no food was stored or prepared on
Oh.
site, but instead workers received abundant rations of bread, beer, and meat. These rations were taken care of by an administration outside the village.
Oh, yeah.
Medical treatment
Yeah.
was also available for those who were injured.
Well, at the moment I think I got Z-Gods on the moderator, so if you want, I could probably get you on there to help out as well. Actually, I got quite a few comments coming through. Some weird ones from people who shall be currently unnamed. Unless
While
these
some
messages
quarries were
about
close to the
Telltale,
Nile,
unless
others
they
were
stop
located across the desert and
creeping me
required
out
long
and thinking that they're
expeditions.
going to shut down for good before
These
the season's done,
expeditions were sanctioned by the state.
then I might actually
They
let them
involved
keep
complex
commenting.
logistics and required many participants. Transporting a block by land meant that workers had to overcome the weight and friction of the load. To solve this,
In fact,
they
I'm
first dug a
also,
track in the ground.
oh
This
god, where's my
path was
English?
sometimes
I'm
reinforced
also
with rails upon which a
going
sled,
to
used to ferry the blocks,
do
would be
shout
pulled.
outs and everything for the crew and sponsors for the Soul Army Elite. So basically, shout outs across Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, PSN, you name it, I'll get it everywhere, even on my Twitch channel.
Whenever possible, blocks were toppled from a higher elevation onto the sled. Workers then poured water onto the clay at the front of the sled, creating a slick surface to more easily move the load. It wasn't until the new
In fact, I wouldn't mind
that
doing those
animals were
Mr.
used
Beast
to tow the
ones,
burden.
like where he donates $20,000 to different streamers and stuff like that. I could, yeah. Although I would have to abide by the rules of the video for that one there.
During flood season, the Nile was at its largest and deepest, which allowed the transportation of the heaviest and biggest loads. Quarries close to the river had troughs dug out to deliver the stones to the shoreline. Harbors and wharfs situated at the river's edge allowed the transfer of materials and supplies. Harbor warehouses accommodated additional stocks of stone so that they were available for the winter sailing season. The Uwadi El Jarf papyri detail a limestone load intended for the Khufu pyramid that weighed in at 70 to 80 tons, or 30 blocks. One papyrus is a fragment from a foreman's notes taken while working on the Great Pyramid. It details the transportation of limestone blocks from the Tura quarries to the construction site of the pyramid. The other papyri are shipping logs containing archives of the sailors assigned to sail the Red Sea and the Nile.
$70 to 80 tons on the water for those boats. I'm surprised they don't sink.
Stone cargo generally weighed 15 tons per boat, amounting to roughly 6 or 7 blocks per trip. For heavier loads
that
such as
clears it up,
obelisks,
because at work, if I have to do a 70 or an 80, if we have to send out 70 or 80 ton deliveries,
these transports are the
we use
ones
about
typically
3
showcased
trucks,
on temple
the
walls.
large ones, semis. Preferably ones with 2 trailers, so we can get a little bit more on. So then we don't have to send out a full. So I thought, if that all goes
River
on
transportation
one,
was
it's
the
going
most efficient way to ferry
That's for
stone
sure.
blocks between the quarry and the construction site. Blocks were transported by flotillas of several types of boats. The most detailed illustration of transport by river is a relief of Queen Hatshepsut's barge with an accompanying flotilla.
Every time I hear the word flotilla, I think of Tali Zoro vs Normandy from Mass Effect. I swear that game has imprinted itself on my mind. And for anyone joining now or later into the stream or afterwards, if you wish to join in my Discord, I will always be live on chat, up to 30 members currently, which I can hold on the phone because of a certain little issue with it at the moment, but I will be fixing that soon and upping it to 100 if I can for voice chat, so just hop in anytime and chat away. So you can talk with me live on stream if you want at any time, while I'm also still talking to everyone else who can't actually fit into the room, depending on that.
Welcome to Oil in Ancient
text
Egypt.
chat also can actually fit in up to about maybe. Well, actually, I think it's
Castor,
unlimited, so that's really
sesame,
good.
and
But
moringa
voice chat's
were the
100.
source of the most common oils in ancient Egypt. Oil was used for various purposes: cosmetics, medical treatments, nutrition, perfume, athletics, and rituals, to name a few. The team decided to use oil as an explosive to add more gameplay opportunities for the player.
Well, you made a good choice. I'm a pyromaniac in the game. In the game, I'm not a real pyromaniac. Oh god.
Ancient Egyptians originally used castor oil in wick lamps,
Why does that make
but
me
also
hungry?
for
Like I want
cosmetics,
a
such as
shepherd's
facial
pie all
and
of a
hair
sudden.
treatments. There is mention in some papyrus of castor oil being prescribed to treat constipation and help pregnant women.
Now that you say constipation, I
Castor
actually don't
beans
want
were
the pie
found in
anymore.
ancient Egyptian tombs as early as 4000 BCE. Castor oil was made by pressing the beans from the plant of the same name.
If you guys want to get in on this giveaway, join my Discord or hop in on live stream as well with the comment section, and just all you got to do,
Olive
comment
trees were
down
present
below.
though scarce in ancient
10
Egypt's
words
early
or
history,
less
and olives were mostly imported from Syria and
what
Palestine.
you want to
Their
do.
use and cultivation remained uncommon until the mass arrival of Greek
Could be
settlers
supporting
during the
your
reign of the
community,
Ptolemies, when demand
helping
increased
to form
sharply.
a new social media account,
Olive trees were normally found in the region of the
starting
Fayum
a new
and the lands
project,
surrounding Alexandria.
being able to give back, like subscribers and that. There's heaps of different things you could use to win there. And I won't be picking actually. I'll be personally finding a friend to be able to pick for me. So I will collect all your answers. Anyone who's participated, give it to him. And I will hold the announcements off till the end of the stream as to who he picked as the winner. So there'll be a close-off time. He'll go through it. I'll pay him in excess of $20 on top of the 40. So who will win? Hop in, find out, and enjoy. And you have till the end of October. It doesn't have to be Australian time or anything like that. Just the end of October for the last place in wherever, I guess. So, say if you're the last person to hit the 1st of November, well, that's when it will close down basically. So, well, when I get up in the morning, midday here, it'll probably close off, I guess. Sounds about right, actually, yeah. And I'll be announcing on the live stream who won. So get in there,
Welcome
get in
to
quick,
the
and I'll
Fayoum.
definitely log you in with it and see
The
what
Fayoum
can do.
Oasis is an enormous basin in the western desert that formed from the Nile's overflow. As such, it is not considered a true
So 10
oasis,
words or less.
though it gives its name to the region,
You can
which
put in
covers
your
Lake Morris.
YouTube
The
name
oasis
or
harbors some of the
PSN
oldest
name,
archaeological
Xbox name,
artifacts of the region,
or whatever,
indicating
and
that the area has
just
been
saying that
inhabited
yes,
by
this
hunters
is me,
and
so we
gatherers
can
since
write
the
that down
Neolithic
here. And
period.
10 words, or actually make it 15 or less. Actually, make it a bit easier to fit it in, but 15 or less actually. Why you think? What could you do with it? Why you think that this would, you know,
The
just whatever you
Fayoum
think would help you, I
Oasis
guess.
drains into Lake Morris, which was a large freshwater
Yeah,
lake,
to give back to
but
your
it sometime became a
subscribers, to
saltwater lake.
maybe start new projects, maybe
In the
just put it
12th
away for
dynasty,
savings for
ancient
something new.
Egyptians redirected the water flow with a dam and dug a
Or it could
supply
be also to
canal,
help you
using the lake as their
support you and get more
reservoir.
equipment to sort of get better set up as a
Irrigation enabled them
YouTuber
to
or Twitch
continue
streamer
growing
maybe.
crops of figs, grapes, and olives year-round.
So yeah.
Reed boats, feluccas, triremes, and kerkeros were the most commonly found craft within the landlocked waters of Egypt. They were used for various purposes, ranging from daily fishing, trade, warfare, and travel, to the ferrying of massive stone blocks used to build the great monuments of Egypt.
Whoa. 500 meters. You really want me to travel on this one, don't you? That's okay, actually, to be honest. I like this game. It's not just... well, it's not as action-packed, I guess, but in the end, it's more about the aesthetics of the game, being able to see the worlds they create for the true beauty that's behind it. And then from there, once you've got a feeling for the universe of Assassin's Creed, they begin to show you that new era and show you what they can do with it in the next game as well as that. And Odyssey is just that. Basically, they've given you enough of the feeling of where they're going, and now they want you to experience it full throttle. Kind of like with Telltale Games with their final season, trying to get everyone in, trying to make each episode as amazing as they possibly can, and please guys, go buy the pre-order. It's back on stores now, $9 extra, $20 for the pre-order originally,
The most impressive
$29 now for
pyramids
the
of ancient
pre-order,
Egypt
and you
date
will
from the
still,
Old
if you had the
Kingdom
pre-order,
and
I
can be
believe
found
get
on the
episodes
sites of
3 and
Giza,
4, I
Saqqara,
believe,
and Dashur.
but I'm not 100%
However, one
certain.
particularly famous
I
pyramid of
have
the time is located
the season
elsewhere.
pass. I
During
bought
the
the
Middle
pre-order season
Kingdom,
thing,
some pharaohs chose the Fayoum as their
and
final
I've
resting
got
place.
episode 1 and 2 now,
One such
which have
ruler
been
was
released for
Amenemhat
all
III.
consoles, I
His
think.
pyramid left a mark on the imagination of antique chroniclers. They refer to it as the Labyrinth, mostly due to the vast mortuary temple complex at the foot of the pyramid. Herodotus mentioned that he had visited 12 courts and over 3,000 of its chambers. But he was also well known for being prone to hyperbole.
One thing I wouldn't mind about the new Assassin's Creed 2 is I don't want anything to be spoiled, guys. Please don't spoil anything for me. Every Assassin's Creed game, I prefer just to go in.
Was built with a brick core and covered with stone slabs, designed to be impenetrable.
Turns at
The
every
burial
edge,
chamber, made out of a
which is the
single block
same
of
as what I've
sandstone,
done with
is
The Walking
unique
Dead
in its
every
design.
episode I've ever played.
Richard Lepsius
I
and
don't
Flinders Petrie
like
both explored
looking
the
at teaser
pyramid
trailers.
site, measuring
I
385
like
meters
just what they put
by
on the game, and if there's a
158
teaser
meters,
trailer saying
and
episode 2, you
identified
might
it as
expect
the
this and that
location
on
of the
the game
labyrinth.
itself, then I'm okay.
Their research
But if it's
conditions
a
were
trailer that's slightly
difficult,
different,
as
showing a
most of
bit
the
more
site
in
had
that
been
episode, and kind of
submerged by the
teasing in a way I
nearby
don't
canal.
like it. I won't watch
Furthermore,
those.
the stones from the complex and the outer casing of the pyramid had been quarried away long ago.
But
Ubisoft
they say
decided to give
2
life back
characters
to
could be
this
returning
lost
in The Walking
monument,
Dead.
and
So
the
if you
many
support them
crypts
now,
that were said to be devoted to
you'll
the
see another
sacred
one from
crocodile
season
god,
1, I
Sobek.
think. There's only 2 people who, wait no, 3 people who I think lived. You got Lily, of course, which she's the bad guy. And to be honest, I never really liked her. She just lost it. She was physically lost. She's a danger to everyone now. You've also got, I believe, Krista? I don't know if she's actually alive or if she survived it, but from the theory about Krista being Tennessee's mother, I think that might be true, because there's scars there that could have happened because she was about probably. Actually, I think she just had the baby not long after the incident when Omid was shot. So maybe somehow when the bandits came along, very possibly, I think very possibly that Tennessee may have been injured trying to escape.
Founded during the 5th dynasty, the
She
site
wants
was
to spend
popular
time
during the
and all the
12th
kids and everyone
dynasty
around
under
her
the name of
just
Shedet.
and
During the
survive
Ptolemaic
because she
era,
knew
the
that it was going to be
metropolis was
dangerous taking
named
the bandits.
Crocodilopolis by the Greeks, in honor of the crocodile god Sobek.
So
During the Greco-Roman era, the Cleruks, soldiers of the Ptolemies, settled there after their military service and expanded the irrigation systems. Irrigation and water distribution tripled the arable land and turned the city into a lush and rich area. 27,000 inhabitants lived in its precinct at its height. The city's location was strategic in controlling the many small waterways connecting to the main canal, and thus the Nile.
And also too, before I go any further as well, I wanted to say thank you to Paranormal Activity VR Game for thanking me for the support and taking the time to watch the video, and it just really means a lot to see that my works like that actually got out to you guys, and
The region's main cult
even to
was that
wider
of
world.
Sobek of
Thank you
Shedet,
so much for
a
taking the time.
divinity
Thank you for the
associated with
support,
water
and
and fertility, both
you
very
really didn't have to. I
important
was
to
just
an area that
hoping to get you
depended
out
on
there, and
irrigation.
I really thought
Many local
that
villages had the
since my
title
channel was
Town
so
of
small that
Sobek added to
wouldn't
their
really get
official
off the ground, but
designations. During
in the
festivals,
end,
ancient Egyptians recited hymns to Sobek,
turned around pretty
asking
quick
for his
and
divine intervention.
got a lot of
Greek
attention, but
settlers
in the
and
end I
later
didn't think
Romans
that
would help the Temple of
I was the one
Sobek's
who should be
economy
thanked.
to
I think it
flourish
was
by
in the
adopting
end
the local
you
embalming
deserve the thanks,
mortuary
because
rites. Their sarcophagi were beautifully
He
painted
gave me that
and
chance to
adorned
be
with
able to
amazingly
put
realistic
that video up
portraits.
by saying that it was alright to do it with putting in the description crediting you, and I owe it to you guys. I hope you guys are Hollywood material someday and on the top of the list. So thank you Paranormal Activity VR game and Wydron for that. It means so much.
Very similar to the cult of the Apis bull in Memphis, a living crocodile was worshipped within the precinct of Crocodilopolis' main temple. Known as Sobek to the Egyptians and Sukos to the Greeks, it was reported by Strabo that priests fed it with meat, wine, and honeyed milk. They covered its body with jewels and gold. After its death, it was embalmed and placed within the crocodile's grotto, alongside thousands of other mummified crocodiles.
Oh, okay. I almost forgot about that actually, almost. Yeah, if you guys definitely want to see me do more Spider-Man, as well as when Assassin's Creed Origins comes out, Assassin's Creed Odyssey comes out, I'll definitely do it. Yo, welcome back Zen. And guys, while you're here too, subscribe to Zen Laser, check out his Instagram. I'll put it in the link in the description after I finish the stream, and please guys, just
Welcome to
do whatever you can to support
Egypt.
him.
In the 19th century,
He's
the
one hell of
increased
a great
intensity of
YouTuber.
tourism and
The videos he does are
excavations,
so
as well
professionally
as the
made and well
outflow of
done.
antiquities to
You
other
guys need to
countries,
check it out
threatened
and
Egypt's
give him that attention
archaeological
that he deserves.
heritage.
Definitely.
Egyptians took part in this destruction by ransacking sites for artifacts to sell, quarrying stones from ancient monuments, and removing sebak, ancient mud bricks, to reuse for their own purposes.
I don't like that actually. I think, to be honest, those treasures should just stay where they are. Leave history as it is, and yeah.
A major step in conserving Egypt's heritage was taken in 1858, when the Viceroy of Egypt created the Antiquities Service. Supported by a team of foreign scholars, Auguste Mariette exerted an iron grip on the service. He carried out his work across Egypt and into Nubia, intervening on almost every major site. Aware of the necessity of keeping unearthed artifacts in Egypt, Mariette requested a museum be created for that purpose in 1858. This museum was the ancestor of the Egyptian Museum. Gaston Maspero, Mariette's successor, expanded and reorganized the Antiquities Service and instigated laws regulating the export of artifacts. French scholars ran the service until it passed into Egyptian hands in the 1950s. As of the mid-19th century, Egyptology was fast becoming a recognized discipline within both private institutions and learned societies.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the zoom ability too. Oop. Alright. Hey, I'm sorry. Being chased by a little kid down the street while I'm trying to do a Discovery Tour live stream.
A French architect, archaeologist, and former researcher, Jean-Claude Golvin, now specializes in the artistic reconstruction of ancient cities and monuments. To date, he has created more than 800 drawings, which include 3 volumes focusing on the reconstitution of ancient Egypt. His work is exquisitely detailed and can be found in books and museums around the world.
And guys too, it's officially 5 days till I hit 21.
The team was thrilled to collaborate with Jean-Claude Golvin in order to recreate Egypt for the game.
And I hope to
in the 19 exclusive watercolors he
created
created for the team, Golvin used
Definitely.
scientific data as the base
Or
and then extrapolated to
instead,
provide a full
I could show
interpretation
you
of
the
various
actual celebration
locations
I'm going to be
and
having
monuments
a
in
week
ancient
after,
Egypt.
on the next week
Both early
Friday, not
sketches
this week
and
Friday,
fully
but next
rendered
week.
images were then used by the team as
Me at the
references
junction,
while building the world
partying,
of
doing
Assassin's
karaoke
Creed
with everyone.
Origins.
So, would you like to see me with my drunken stupor trying to sing karaoke, maybe a bit of Jet with Are You Gonna Be My Girl? Yeah, why not?
Although ancient Egypt's rich religious culture and its mortuary monuments continue to be investigated, the modern discipline of Egyptology has shifted focus. Rather than single-mindedly retrieving impressive artifacts, Egyptologists today focus instead on increasing the body of knowledge. In the past, excavations took place in the field, and while that is still the case today, much of the work on Egyptology now takes place in libraries and archives.
What I love about this tour is just seeing everything that they would have done and how long it would have actually taken on top of all their other projects.
Today,
would have been
archaeology in
pretty
Egypt
tough to
relies
meet
on an
these deadlines, that's for
interdisciplinary
sure.
approach, where traditional Egyptologists are helped by a wide spectrum of scientists from other disciplines and new non-invasive techniques. GPS
That
data,
is
satellite
absolutely
imaging,
beautiful.
and ground-penetrating radar allow archaeologists to gain a sense of what lies underneath the ground before excavating.
Oh, Pyramid of the Middle Kingdom. Forgot about this one. The Science Cenotaph deep in the sand. What? Oh, I didn't even get to see that. That's not even completed.
Welcome to Pyramids of the Middle Kingdom.
Oh, and of course, absolute crazy fan of it. Although not as crazy as my next surprise.
During the Middle
I'm
Kingdom era,
trying
the powerful
to
rulers of the
craft
12th dynasty resumed the tradition of elaborate
a
pyramidal
large-sized Walking
tombs.
Dead character.
For example, Amenemhat
Yes,
I
you
built a
heard that
funerary
right.
complex in Lisht, and Senusret
Now,
II selected the Elahun site in
not
the
only am I a
Fayum.
crazy fan, check
Amenemhat
out my
II
PSN
and
profile
Sesostris
with
III,
a real name
however,
request
cast their
if
favor
you're willing
towards
to.
Dashur.
And then
Amenemhat III built a
check it
pyramid
out.
there as well before
You'll
moving to
see
Hawara
exactly
in
who
the
it
Fayum.
is. It's going to take me a fair while, but I'm trying to recreate Clementine perfectly. But eventually I want to have a full
The
collection
plundering
of
of
each
tombs
season
in troubled
of
times
all the
prompted the
characters.
architects of the Middle Kingdom to
It's
devise
going to take
increasingly complicated
ages.
means of security during construction. As such, while the architectural plans of the
Although I hope in
Hawara
the end that
pyramid
something
were
like that
simpler
could
than the
actually
one at
save
Dashur,
Telltale
the
in their
means used
futile
to
attempts.
protect it from looters
So
were much
here
more
we go.
elaborate.
Yeah.
Beyond the use of blind passages and concealed trapdoors, the architects relied on a system of stone slabs, which were slid into place at the end of construction. These massive stone slabs were meant to permanently block the passageways leading to the funerary chambers. The kings of the 13th dynasty began building their pyramids at Mazguna, south of Dashur, then moved on to Fayum and Abydos. The kings of the 17th dynasty, however, satisfied themselves with crowning their cave tombs with small pyramids of raw brick. The kings of the 18th dynasty gave up the shape of the pyramid as a royal tomb entirely. They chose a mountain with a pyramidal shape in the Valley of Kings and dug their graves there. It was not until the Nubian pharaohs of the 25th dynasty that kings were once again buried under pyramidal tombs. In fact, today, the area of ancient Nubia, modern Sudan, contains a record number of 220 known pyramids to Egypt's 138. Despite their slow decline in use and quality, pyramids continued to fascinate all and sundry up to the Roman era. They remain to this day a symbol of the religious dedication of the pharaohs and the grandeur of ancient Egypt.
In the sand in these pictures. I want to know about that. The silent cenotaph deep in the sand waits patiently for centuries until he is silent no more. That sounds ominously creepy. I don't know. It would be interesting to know what that means.
Welcome to Domesticated Animals of Ancient Egypt. Agriculture and domesticated livestock were introduced 6,000 years ago. Archaeologists have found traces of cattle, donkeys, pigs, and dogs. Dromedary are thought to have been introduced during the Persian invasion.
What the hell was that? Sorry. Strange happenings in this place.
Pets were deeply cherished in ancient Egypt. Many illustrations of children often include a pet in the depiction.
Every time I see these goats now, I'm just going back to the screaming goat compilations on YouTube in my mind.
One of ancient Egypt's most iconic animals, the cat, wasn't adopted
Especially when
into
they
their
say
daily
that it
life
reminds them of
until the Middle
One
Kingdom.
Direction, one of the goats when they were
Since they were so
going
highly
off.
capable of killing snakes and rodents, cats were present throughout every period. However, they only became pets sometime during the Middle Kingdom. Prince Thutmose, son of Amenhotep III, had his cat Tamu laid to rest in its own sarcophagi.
Why is this one so far away? Ah, dog.
The earliest reference to dogs dates back to 5000 BCE. They were popular pets as they helped hunters and protected herds. They were closely linked to Anubis, the jackal-headed god. Baboons, monkeys, and even falcons were tamed as pets. Each was mummified and buried with as much ceremony as
What the? Sorry too if I take a bit of time to respond to any comments that might come through. Yeah, YouTube sometimes does have a few hiccups, I guess. But yeah, so far these are the last of the tours to go, and unfortunately the DLC I haven't recorded yet for Curse of the Pharaohs and Hidden Ones. I've just done the main game so far. So I'm probably just going to stream most of that.
Welcome to Deserts of Egypt.
It's just that I'm hoping to get it all ready for when
Reaching out on either side of the lush Nile are the harsh, arid western desert and the mountainous eastern desert. They cover nearly 94% of Egypt. Each of these parent deserts have their
Hey,
own
welcome to
microclimate
the stream.
and contain several smaller deserts
Dionysus.
with a distinctive fauna and flora.
I do apologize
Whale
if
fossils
I
were
got that
discovered
wrong.
within the
I'm
depths
really
of the
sorry about
Sahara.
that.
Known as the Valley of the Whales, this location is evidence of the seas which once covered the area.
So this was ocean before? Oh, okay.
The White Desert in the northeast of the Sahara owes its name to its white limestone soil, contrasting with the yellow sand. The wind has eroded the rocks of the White Desert into stone mushrooms, the most famous of which is referred to as the Finger of God.
If you want mods, I myself, most of the mods I get, I don't actually create myself. A lot of them I just get anti-ban protection and that from a few unnamed friends at the time being, but yeah. Also too, if you want to get in live now and chat with me too, I'm also live on my Discord right now actually, on live chat, connected with this on my phone. Got my other mics set up there, 2 of them set up for feedback resistance to fix that up. So yeah. Oops.
The Great Sand Sea is a large unbroken desert that reaches out through western Egypt and eastern Libya. It is home to a unique geological formation known as Libyan silica glass.
Okay,
The pale
see what
yellowish-green
happens.
material ranges from pebble-sized fragments to glass rocks the size of rough boulders.
Oops. And if you want to know the Discord link, guys, it's in the description for the stream. At the way bottom, you will see the link there. Sounds like a very depressing tour. I feel like one day I'm going to end up on a cringe video.
Welcome to the Katara Depression. The Katara Depression is located in the northwest part of Egypt. Reaching 18,000 square kilometers, the basin is 133 meters below sea level and covered with salt. It is the second lowest point in Africa, after the Afar Depression. The climate is very arid, with average temperatures reaching 36 degrees Celsius. The famous Siwa Oasis is located on the protected southwestern region. Today, the Katara Depression is utilized for oil exploration.
Oh, that is Siwa, isn't it? Yeah. Well, yeah, that is. Oh, okay.
Welcome to Siwa. The Siwa Oasis is in the western desert of Egypt. Geographically, the Siwan Oasis is located in a depression 20 meters below sea level. Its natural springs and warm climate aided in the bountiful production of date trees. Though clearly influenced to some degree by Egyptian and African culture, the area's isolation resulted in a unique society and language.
I am so sorry, I don't know.
While they worshipped the same deities, Siwan temple architecture differed from traditional Egyptian temples.
You guys saw that, right? My horse just went Complete nuts for no reason. Okay.
Old Kingdom Egyptians referred to the oasis as cauldron due to its unique geographical structure. Oases were crucial for nomadic tribes and caravans. Without them, there was no chance of survival in an otherwise harsh landscape. As such, oases quickly became hubs for trade, as well as areas of political control.
Should I do more of this? Should I? Because I'm addicted to it like crazy. I'm thinking I'm going to do that, between that and Odyssey. So back and forth streams, one stream for Spider-Man, the next one for Odyssey. Back and forth, and I'll start doing some Call of Duty Blackout in between.
Because of the dry climate, there is very little rainfall to sustain the oases. Instead, underground rivers flood the natural basins. Since many oases have a north-south orientation parallel to the Nile, some geologists suggest they were once tributaries of the mighty river.
I'm just a little bit...
There is evidence that ancient Egyptians attempted to create some oases.
So what they're trying to do is basically terraform a land, I guess, and make it livable.
The Libyan oases are the best known, as they are geographically and culturally linked to the Nile Valley and the Delta. These western oases have a distinct geology from the other regions of Egypt. The most famous and important oases are Karga, Dakhla, Farafra, Baharia, and Siwa. The Spring of the Sun is one of many thermal sources in Siwa, with the particularity that Cleopatra would have bathed in this one, giving it its name. The presence of the source beneath was attested already by Herodotus during the 5th century BCE, when the oasis was called Amuneion by the Greeks of Cyrene. Oracles predicted the future, delivered omens that could be more or less obscure, and offered divine guidance. The Siwan Oracle was considered one of the 3 greatest of the ancient world, alongside the oracles of Delphi and Dodoni. Because of the Greek colonies in Cyrenaica, the temple associated Zeus with the worship of Amun. It is no wonder that Alexander the Great made the perilous journey to Siwa in order to consult the oracle, emulating the actions of mythical heroes such as Hercules and Perseus. This action earned the approval of the oracle, who validated his claim as Pharaoh of Egypt. He was confirmed as the son of Amun, conferring upon him the most legitimate claim to date of all Egypt's foreign invaders. The powerful and the rich would send gifts or travel great distances in order to ensure their good fortune by gaining the blessing of the Oracle of Siwa. Every successful blessing only increased the soothsayer's prestige. Runner Eubotus, a famous citizen of Cyrene, consulted the Oracle in order to know if he would win the 93rd Olympic Games race in 408 BCE. He did, enhancing the standing of the Siwan Oracle in the process. The Temple of the Oracle of Amun was built in the 6th century BCE by Pharaoh Amasis. In the game, its entrance is guarded by ram-headed sphinxes, the animal representing Amun. They were inspired by similar statuary located at the British Museum. Another option would have a Greek-influenced representation of Zeus Ammon, a human-headed sphinx with horns. This representation of Zeus Ammon was very popular in Siwa.
Okay. So yeah guys, I'm going to finish off with all the Siwa tours and yeah, see what we can do from there.
Welcome to Ancient Egyptian Hieroglyphs.
Now this is interesting. If anyone knows anything about hieroglyphics or anything, please help me to learn a bit about that, because I've always taken an interest in that, and I've always been dying to know. And also,
hieroglyphics were used as sacred writing, appearing on monuments, statues, and sacred papyrus texts. The earliest symbols that resemble hieroglyphs were on pottery dating back to 4000 BCE. This stylized form of signs and drawings was the only writing used from its ancient origins to the end of pharaonic history. Ancient Egyptians referred to hieroglyphs as the writing of the gods.
Also, I wanted to make a shout out to GPA Gaming and Ferrixo, and as well as Zen Laser and the rest of the crew. By all means, please, I want you to subscribe to them, like their videos, give them positive feedback, and just be there for them all the way and give them the attention that they deserve. They get a lot more than what they're already getting. They need a lot more than that.
Considered a difficult language, it was intended for pharaohs, nobility, and priests, and meant to be used in ceremonies, within tombs, and for government records. Since few Egyptians were able to read the ancient hieroglyphs, the mythological aura around the language was persistent, even in their own culture.
They are definitely getting plenty of attention now, but they deserve a lot more than what they're getting. A lot more. So do what you can for them, please.
The structure of hieroglyphs offers insight into Egyptian culture, not just in what the translations say, but in the structure of the symbols themselves. They were found on tomb walls, on sarcophagi, on statues, and on pottery, and were meticulously recorded in countless ancient papyri.
In fact, I wouldn't mind actually studying a bit about this stuff, because I've always wondered, is there any way we can actually understand what exactly was wrote? I mean, what was written?
In many temples, priests would perform rituals and daily offerings. These were accompanied by hieroglyphs used as spells. In tomb paintings, the hieroglyphs are represented with formulas to recite. These spoken words were meant to be spells which would allow the deceased to benefit from the offerings for all eternity. Spells and offerings were also written for the living, to enhance medicines and cure illnesses.
Excuse me.
The most famous of ancient Egyptian documents is the Book of the Dead. Written in hieroglyphs and hieratic texts, it depicts important spells and rituals. These spells were intended to ensure a smooth transition from life to death and allow the deceased to safely navigate the perils of the afterlife. Even after it was deciphered, the reading of hieroglyphs remained difficult at times due to the many directions in which they can be read. Depending on the orientation of the signs, hieroglyphs can be read left to right, right to left, horizontally or vertically, though never bottom to top.
That would be hard to decipher then.
A clue on which way to read is to first notice which direction the figurative signs are facing. If a pictogram is looking to the right, then the reader is meant to start from the right and read towards the figure. Column text on a papyrus begins from the right, then goes top to bottom for each column.
What? And head towards the figure. Context of the post begins from the right, then goes top to bottom for each column. Or is it? I don't know.
Text written on tomb walls resembles the structure of a page from a comic book. The text can be placed in front, behind, or above the character, and its symbols look in the same direction as the character. Another clue is that the name of a god or hieroglyphs meaning gods or kings are always written before the descriptive text. Compared to alphabetical languages, Egyptian hieroglyphs have more symbols. Confronted with the absence of vowels, the Egyptians invented a category of signs. When placed at the end of words, these signs help inform its meaning. For instance, a drawing of a lion will refer to a lion and also relate to the abstract concept of a lion as something dangerous or powerful.
Oh, so it's symbolic imagery meant to tell a story through the meaning behind it. It's not about just what it is straight up, but there's another meaning behind it, or a
Middle
story behind
Egyptian
it.
hieroglyphs contained a little more than 700 signs. By the end of the Greco-Roman period, there were 10,000 signs. Egyptologist Sir Alan Gardner created a list classifying common hieroglyphic signs and their variants. Ancient Egyptian languages have many similarities with Asian and African languages. They have evolved in similar ways to the various forms of written Egyptian. These languages belong to the Hamito-Semitic group. There were 5 clear evolutions in the Egyptian language, each with their own distinctive structure. These languages are known as Old Egyptian, Middle Egyptian, Late Egyptian, Demotic, and Coptic. Coptic is the only living language that allows linguists to define the vowel structure and to distinguish different dialects.
Okay.
While hieroglyphs and hieratic script give us an idea as to how the ancient Egyptian language was structured and written, the way it was spoken is still up for debate. The team opted for English as the spoken language, with the characters using ancient Egyptian and Greek words and accents. The language that is spoken in the background by the crowds is largely based on Sir Alan Gardner's Egyptian grammar. To help resurrect a dead language, we consulted Egyptologists and dialogue coaches to establish our target sound and cast actors with Arabic, Hebraic, and African backgrounds to bring the game to life.
Oh, so that's actually good at getting the people involved in something that they're proud of their own country and showing the world basically what they have to offer. And it's really amazing what they can bring to life. And getting the people who live there involved in it, it's
After
just
Alexander the
amazing.
Great's arrival in Egypt and the establishment of his reign, Greek became a language used by the governing bodies. The inability to read hieroglyphs caused resentment among the Greek population. It's from this tension that the Rosetta Stone was created. The spread of Christianity ended pharaonic culture and resulted in the destruction of its pagan monuments. This also marked the end of hieroglyphic writing and understanding.
Yeah. Just the medicine tour and Osiris to go, and then that should be me done for tonight, guys. So I'll continue on probably 2 more parts, maybe 3, I don't know. But we'll see what happens and see where it goes.
Welcome to Ancient Egyptian Medicine. Evidence of advanced medical procedures have been found on mummies, and ancient Egyptians left detailed medical writings from diagnosis to follow-up treatment. One of the oldest known surgical studies is the Edwin Smith Papyrus. It's one of the first documents in history that notes an association between the integrity of the brain and cognitive functions, including cases of ocular complications and paralysis following head trauma. Vinegar-treated marble stone from Memphis was used as an anesthetic.
Wow.
Another similar document, the Ebers Medical Papyrus, is over 20 meters long and 30 centimeters wide. It details treatments of 48 surgical cases and contains 877 paragraphs describing various diseases. Alongside accurate and factual scientific approaches, the papyrus has more than 700 magic formulas and incantations to ward off demons and disease. This demonstrates how ancient Egyptians believed in a harmonious balance between religion and science.
Oh, wow.
Remedies were considered as medicine and carried by doctors and priests. Village doctors often had another job alongside their medical duties and the preparation of medicines. A cure for blindness was made of fermented honey, ochre, and coal. The science behind it was that honey functioned as an antiseptic and antibacterial, while ochre would reduce the swelling. All of their knowledge did not always suffice. Ramses II died of an infection caused by an abscessed tooth.
Oops. Is that sorry, my pharaoh or my king? You are unfortunately going to die because your tooth is obsessed. What a painful way to go. But yeah, I'll probably just get all these ones out the way and most of what I can there in the next part, and then anything I don't finish I'll do in the next stream after that. The Romans were said to have no taste in luxury, but Caesar did.
Welcome to Osiris, the first mummy.
Or you could watch one with Brendan Fraser, buddy. It's pretty cool. Nah, jokes.
The oldest mummies recovered date from the Old Kingdom, though Egyptologists believe that mummification was in use much earlier than that. At first, the body was mummified through environmental desiccation by leveraging the dryness of the environment and the heat of the climate. Early experimentations in mummification were conducted with the use of resin made from tree sap. Strips of linen were only used on some superficial parts of the epidermis of the hands or jaw. Ideologically, the will to preserve the body is not explained in any way until 3600 BCE. This is when the Egyptian belief that the body housed the soul was finally documented for modern Egyptologists to eventually decipher. It was not until the arrival of the myth of Osiris in the Egyptian religion around the 5th dynasty that mummification was thoroughly conceptualized. The practice was thereafter grounded in both a mythological and ideological point of view. Osiris was mainly known as the god of the dead and the god of resurrection. The most well-known Genesis myth concerning Osiris is that of his dismemberment. It is Plutarch who gives the most simplified and complete summary of the story. Within Egyptian mythology, Osiris represented the first king to rule Egypt. Jealous of his power, his brother Seth attempted to usurp his throne. After several unsuccessful attempts, Seth succeeded in killing his brother by dismembering him and scattering the pieces of his body all over Egypt. Isit, the Great of Magic, traveled all over Egypt in search of the pieces of her husband's body. After a long search, she recovered all the pieces save for his manhood, as it was eaten by a fish.
Imagine telling them that when you revive him. Sorry, but your manhood was devoured by a fish. It's like, alright, back I go.
Isit then reassembled the body of her husband by
you
binding
know
it together with strips of linen.
It's even the miniature thing.
Aided by her sister Nephthys, another powerful magician, they gave Osiris the breath of life. This not only brought him back from the dead, but also allowed him to recover his virility long enough to impregnate Isit, thus ensuring his succession before, once more, dying. Thus Horus was born.
Okay.
The ritual used to bring Osiris back to life essentially depicts how he became the first mummy. It is why, on the sarcophagi of kings, we often find Isit and Nephthys represented as the magicians who restore life to the deceased.
So yeah, these are pretty much all the tools left to go. Most of them are in Serene. But yeah, we'll do Green Mountain and Serene in the next episode. Might as well get out Marmarika. In fact, yeah, I got another 5 minutes to go, so fit this in, then I'll be off for the day. And just remember that if you guys want to join the Discord, just check down below for the invite code. It never expires. It's a permanent invite code, so just click on that, hop in at any time, and yeah. Oh no, accurate records. Oh, Dan was reading.
Welcome to Roman Forum. The size of a Roman military camp, known as a castrum, varied significantly depending on how many soldiers it needed to accommodate. However, they all shared common characteristics in design and construction, such as this fort before you, located in Cape Chersonesos. Rectangular in shape, the forts were heavily fortified by ramparts and a ditch system. The walls were reinforced with parapets, essentially an extension at the roofline which allowed a protective barrier for patrolling soldiers. Depending on the availability of materials, some forts were built with stone, timbers, stacked turf, and particularly in the eastern part of the empire, baked brick. Access doors on all four sides were each flanked by guard towers. The commanding officer was positioned in the middle of the camp, giving him a clear view of the troops and the main gate. Along with sleeping barracks for the soldiers, the fort also had a granary that was expected to hold rations for a year or longer. To ensure the health of the soldiers, every camp was equipped with medical staff and a hospital. A clean water supply with conduits for a bathhouse and latrines was included in the construction of every fort.
That's the thing too, is I'm gonna change my character for the next one. As a Persian commander, what? That one's alright, yeah. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next episode, and thank you so much for watching. Join my Discord for one-on-one chats with me at any time. And if you wish to get involved in the giveaway, remember, 15 words or less, explain what you would use it for. Just say, I want to use it for this. Or say, I want to use it to support my channel. I want to use it to support my subscribers. I want to use it to make new projects on YouTube. I want to use it to get new games to stream. So, yeah, anything you want, and I won't be picking the winner. I'll be getting a friend to do that, so I'll have no idea either. I'll release the results at the end of the stream, and until then, peace out from your boy, DJ Soulzy. Peace.